Hey folks, it's Johnny Flynn. We're doing well. But we have to get the GOP behind us, and they don't know a single thing about what's happening in Connecticut. This video is meant not to pull a punch, describe a situation they are totally unaware of, that they don't even care, or finding out the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about is remarkable that they don't care, okay? On my document reader, right here, to my right, I'm going to show you some documents, and I have many. Thousands. This is a case, right here, on my document reader, filed in federal court in Connecticut by me against George Malley. He's an NASD examiner. Brian McCormick, an NASD examiner. Terry Riker, an NASD lawyer. Jack Hardy, an SEC problem. Big problem. Al Lappins, a big problem. An SEC employee, an investigator. Okay? And Brent Larrabee, a police chief in Connecticut who's putting hits on people. Okay? So I say, here's a judgment. Here's a rule. Here's a case. By the way, if you look at this file, look how thick it is. This is one case. No, this is also a case against Fiserv. You see? Fiserv. 152 paragraphs about money laundering in Connecticut. Now, the problem in Connecticut is very simple. They stay financial crimes, okay? This is 500,000 felonies right here, okay? They stay federal cases after they kick them out of the Stamford Superior Court. The judges have connections to all these people. Yeah, Judge Heller has a connection to John Carberry, an attorney. They both go out to dinner all the time. They're on the same boards of corporations, and it's pretty ugly. These are different cases. This is 1365, okay? This is 1358. I can go through this file. Here we go. So this was originally filed in the Stamford Superior Court. They kicked it out to federal court. And now we've uncovered 7,000 houses being stolen by Judge Spader. Well, and the other judges. That's in the Stamford Superior Court. So not only do we have a problem in the federal court, we have a problem in the state court, because the SEC and the NASDAQ, okay, Jim Himes has oversight of, and many of the crimes are quite substantial crimes, gigantic crimes. So Connecticut does not realize that it is the money laundering capital of the United States. Now, can we highlight articles about what's going on? Oh, yes, we can. Let's do that. Let's close the document reader, okay? Let's go to, hey, I'm highlighting the federal case, and I got your article.
Yeah, and I just sent you 10 more on top of that.
10 more. Oh, great.
They're all pertinent in the state of Connecticut. The last one I just sent you was they had a problem with the judge and the plaintiff.
Right. Of course they did.
And they still let the case go. Of course, some of those are back in 2007, but it gives you history. It gives you...
history, right. There's so much history on this thing.
Right. And what it is not much has changed since 2007, that's all.
Nothing, because the judges are the same.
Right. So if you have the time later, take a look at the articles they just sent you. There's about 6 of them in a row.
Okay, 6 in a row.
And make sure you go to your spam folder and your trash folder just in case they make it that far.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll talk to you later on during the day, but I can count on you in the morning.
Absolutely. Tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow morning. You tell me when, I'm there.
Okay, no problem.
Great.
We'll talk later, John.
Great.
Okay,
great. Have a fantastic day. So here we go.
Yeah,
I'm talking on the thing. So on the screen, 131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases where they had a financial interest. 131 federal judges. Okay, let's look at that. Let's look at that. Here we go. It's shocking what's going on here. They violate ethics. Now, here's the canons of ethics I have on the computer if you want to go over it, but it may be too complicated for the average Connecticut citizen to follow. But when you read the full story, the federal judges inherit from the state. This is just between 8:38 and 8:44 this morning. Justices failed to recuse themselves. That's a Spader issue, a Kremrich issue, a Gennaro issue. They don't recuse themselves, okay? Code of Judicial Conduct. Thank you, Rick. Here it is. They don't uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary. Yeah, they steer the cases of Bank America fraud to the Bank America judge, Judge Adams, who's a partner at Kelly Dry and Warren, working for Jim Himes to rob Connecticut hedge funds, rob Connecticut broker-dealers, rob Connecticut bank accounts, rob Connecticut securities accounts. Now, I was a research analyst for my own biotechnology research firm, and we invested in a lot of private placements. Those were stolen. Our Regeneron is missing, okay? Regeneron, I tried to sell it at $560 a share. We bought it at $20, okay? Quite a few shares. We're missing Paladin Labs. We're missing Virex. We're missing Alterex. We're missing many pharmaceutical companies. Sheffield, Knight Pharmaceuticals. Why? Because Jim Himes, through the federal court, as my federal person, my federal contact, is in charge of SEC oversight. I have sued the SEC 100 times. None of the cases went to court. So if you heard Ben Proto say, "Oh, you never won this case," that's because it's racketeering and the judge is in on it. "Oh, Johnny, you're a failure." Yeah, I'm not a failure. There's no statute of limitations on fraud. Now the judges are being rounded up, and that's due to Trump. Okay? So, like him or not, there's many reasons why you shouldn't like him. Here, read the articles. Read them all. Disqualification of judicial authority from the law library. Oh, you should be reading these documents. Why are they so interesting to find? They're so easy to find. Conflict of interest and pro se bias. Oh, that's exactly what's happening. Look at that. Judge Kremrich. Look at this. Black Lives Matter. Look at that. Who wrote it? Flynn, 2022. Partner with a newspaper in Connecticut. Here, when you represent yourself and you are not an attorney, the treatment you receive in court is the ultimate discrimination. How perfect is that? Thank you, Rick. So this is my inbox from Rick. Here we go. Read the articles. Judicial disqualification in Connecticut. Wow. I never saw this one before. What's it dated? I don't know. But there's hundreds of articles that you should be reading. Connecticut's present judicial disqualification statute, Connecticut General Statute 5139, generally prohibits judges from hearing cases in which they have a financial interest or certain types of relationships with litigants unless the parties to the proceedings consent in open court. Now, I've tried to recuse Judge Provader. I've tried to recuse Judge Jacobs, Adams, Heller, and now Pritchard, Andrew Pritchard, is suing 12 judges for his treatment on his $3.5 million house that was foreclosed upon, okay, for having a mortgage that doesn't exist. He doesn't have a mortgage, folks, okay? Though my opponent, Richard Blumenthal, has been actively trying to stop robo-signing, electronic filing of documents with different states and different cities to take ownership of your house electronically with an electronic signature, okay? So what we're discovering is yesterday, another person came forward. His name is Lou. 30 houses in Connecticut were stolen by that EMAP process. What we're being told right now from yesterday's investigation, are you listening? That, oh, hold on, let me put on a different source. Let me put on a different source. Bear with me. It's very interesting. You will find it interesting, folks. That 30 houses they discovered yesterday where people never were notified of the foreclosure on their house, and the attorney walked in with a receipt of them being served through EMAP. Okay. Those 30 individuals went to the same person who researched those 30 mail receipts, certified mail receipts. None of them came from the Postal Service. The Postal Service is saying, that's our receipt, but we don't have a record of it. We never sent that. That's our receipt proving service. There are attorneys in Connecticut robbing houses by falsifying the mail receipts, saying people were served. People are finding out that their houses have been ruled upon by Judge Spader with no service. Complete backdoor dealings through the records of the municipalities, including the tax departments, who are setting up these attorneys like Casanova Creek, like, oh, there's a long list, Benchmark, like the attorneys I've been highlighting. What I'm saying here now, we found out about that fraud. Now there's a new fraud, this other type of EMAP fraud. But this post right here is about these documents in my hand. Keep in mind, this is one federal lawsuit filed, okay, hundreds and hundreds of paragraphs. Here's one, Flynn versus NFS. National Financial Services, the largest clearing firm in the world, goes through Connecticut. Jim Himes has oversight. The bribes are going to Bank America, and the judges are benefiting. How? How? Oh. And there's hundreds, yes, hundreds of judges. Here's the list. Let's go to ProScan 2. I'll show you how to do it. And people need to follow what I'm doing and help me do it. We can't fix Connecticut's financial crime history. It's the most crimes of any state, because NASDAQ runs its trades through Trumbull, Connecticut, folks. NASDAQ got shut down and FINRA was created as the regulatory authority. The problem is they falsify the state's official tax records. They falsify everything I'm talking about. Goes back to this article right here. 131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases they had a financial interest in from 2010 to 2018. This is a Wall Street Journal investigation. Okay? Listen to the article. Okay.
Ben Brantley of the New York Times heralds The Woman in Black as ingenious, winner of 2020's Best Play Revival.
I don't think we're going to go through this. This is an ad.
131 federal judges broke the law by hearing cases where they had a financial interest. The judges failed to recuse themselves from 685 lawsuits from 2010 to 2018 involving firms in which they or their family held shares, a Wall Street Journal investigation found. By James V. Grimaldi, Coulter Jones, and Joe Palazzolo. September 28, 2021, 9:07 a.m. Eastern Time. More than 130 federal judges have violated U.S. law and judicial ethics by overseeing court cases involving companies in which they or their family owned stock. A Wall Street Journal investigation found that judges have improperly failed to disqualify themselves from 685 court cases around the nation since 2010. The jurists were appointed by nearly every president from Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump. About two-thirds of federal district judges disclosed holdings of individual stocks, and nearly one of every five who did heard at least one case involving those stocks. Alerted to the violations by the Journal, 56 of the judges have directed court clerks to notify parties in 329 lawsuits that they should have recused themselves. That means new judges might be assigned, potentially upending rulings. When judges participated in such cases, about two-thirds of their rulings on motions that were contested came down in favor of their or their family's financial interests. To hear the full story, subscribe or sign in.
Okay, let's shut that down. There it is. Shut it down. What I'm saying in Connecticut is that not only do we have hundreds, well, there's 12 in Stamford, 12 corrupt judges in Stamford doing mortgage foreclosure fraud. We have hundreds in the rest of the state with relationships where they should have recused themselves. 60 appeals have never been responded to, and we have, for example, Ed Marcus of the Marcus Law Firm was DNC chair, steered cases to the judges that he stole using federal mail receipts that don't exist, have no backdrop. This is, the judges are aware. Those 30 people who had their houses stolen said, "This is not my signature. I never got served with this." The judges said, "We don't care. It's a federal receipt. Bye-bye. Be out of your house by next Tuesday, or we will own all your property too." So I spoke to a blind lady who lost her house. Yeah. She was working with Blumenthal while he was doing the robocall, or claiming to be doing the robocall investigation, which is electronic signatures, stealing houses in Connecticut everywhere. New Canaan, we have a person in every town. Westport has 4, okay, that we're looking into. There are 30 cases of this we found out about yesterday. So we're looking into these things. We're gaining more people looking into these things, and we're uncovering problems like this 500,000 felonies that Underhill got compensated for. How? We're on it. Those stock certificates that are missing are being held at the Norwalk Police Department by Detective Maloney. I put a buy on Regeneron at $20 a share. I have the financial report. Want me to go get it? Bear with me. I'm going to continue talking. Okay, I'm back, but I don't have the one I'm looking for. But here's Alkermes, okay? Greenwich Global, my brokerage firm. We put a buy on it. When? March 22, 1999. Well, we put a buy on Regeneron at $20 while it was bleeding cash, and it looked like it was going out of business. It was trading at $20. Okay. When it got to $5.60, we tried to sell the shares that are listed on our brokerage firm's statement. It's the statement of a NASDAQ member firm listed through all these documents. Now, what happened? File an arbitration at NASDAQ? Okay. Sorry, they stayed it. File a court case in Stamford, Connecticut, Superior Court? Sorry, they stayed it. Bounced it to the federal court? Sorry, they dismissed it. Thousands of gigantic financial crimes are taking place at NASDAQ, at the SEC. I named the examiners personally, okay? They are manipulating the stock market from Connecticut. Oh, yes, they are. How do I know? Because I watched it unfold. I told Jim Himes about it, and he's never looked into it. I talked to him about I talked to Christopher Shays first. Okay, what are they doing? These judges are dismissing cases of wire fraud, check fraud, accounting fraud. Not only are the law firms falsifying the bank statements of NASDAQ member firms. Does that sound like a Bernie Madoff problem? Yes, I was the first whistleblower against Bernie Madoff on September 30th, 2000. He recently died. He was never prosecuted for a single crime created in the hedge fund capital of the United States of America, Connecticut. Fleet Bank is behind 253 brokerage firms failing. Did you know that? It's a fact. NFS is a big player in securities fraud. Fidelity is a big player in securities fraud. And they have the judges, here's 131, with financial interests in cases they should not have heard. And Provader didn't recuse himself. Heller didn't recuse herself. Neither did the 25 other judges that we filed cases with in the Stamford Superior Court. So I'm here to say I'm running for U.S. Senate from the dirtiest state in the country, and I'm going to do a national raise-up. We have 4 events in Florida in January. We have a very short period of time to demonstrate we can raise money to take Blumenthal's seat. Who's responsible for mortgage fraud through robo-signing electronic deals? Through the State Banking Commission of Connecticut. His name is George. It's a Spanish name. He's in all these documents. With oversight of the judiciary, Matt Blumenthal, Richard Blumenthal's son, is covering up judicial misconduct across this state in the federal court and the state court. The arbitration process of NASDAQ, FINRA, and the SEC. It goes right up to Jim Himes and beyond. He's on the Finance Committee of the Congress. We have criminal acts being covered up by Congressman Himes, who is responsible for the Russian collusion story, according to Comey. James Comey was Connecticut's FBI director. Ray Dalio at Bridgewater, the largest hedge fund in the world, which is in Greenwich, Connecticut, hired Comey from the FBI, gave him a $3 million signing bonus, gave him $14 million in payments, and Blumenthal put him in charge of the Hillary Clinton investigation, the Mueller report, Benghazi. All the problems with Connecticut go back to Ray Dalio and the hedge funds of Connecticut. And there are partners at those hedge funds who started law firms. One is Halloran and Sage, which you should know about. Biff Halloran was a made man in the Gambino crime family. He ran both of the largest cement factories in Manhattan. He was indicted for price fixing. And these are the lobby groups that need to be investigated in Connecticut. Robinson and Cole is paying the Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff of Norwalk to open prisons without permits. They are bribes. They are illegal. They are not non-profit, non-taxable. A bribe is a taxable consequence. It's income when it's illegal. That's how they got Al Capone. That's how they have to get Connecticut's elected officials, by claiming that the income was never reported. Look at the PACs. I have lists of them. You can go back, and here's one. Look at this. Just bear with me. Right here. These are the PACs of Connecticut. Where's the 3rd Street PAC on this list? Where's the 3rd Street PAC? ST. It's not here. Bob Duff has a PAC called the 3rd Street PAC, run by his partner, Dean O'Brien, taking payments from every law firm in the state. Look at this. Look at the sign here on the screen. See this? Black Lives Don't Matter to Judge Gennaro. Why? He dismissed a murder trial. Yeah. Black lives don't matter to Judge Kremrich. Yes, he dismissed a murder trial with falsified body cam evidence. Folks, these aren't small crimes. The document I showed you had Larrabee listed. Chief of Police. They're using hitmen. They sent one to kill me. They sent the same hitman to kill 2 other people. One's named Lamb, one's named Dealey. And by the way, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've got the documents to prove it. We have 100 cases of documents we need to talk about, because these are money laundering problems. The GOP, you heard him say he doesn't care. Okay. It's an OxyContin Purdue Pharma bribery problem. Those are not campaign contributions. Those are bribes, payments that are taxable. It's a protection racket. Connecticut is a bona fide protection racket for organized crime. So, can I get you to send me $5 so I can go and demonstrate in the next 6 months how we get Richard Blumenthal's seat? For God's sakes, he owns Chinese corporations through his limited partnerships. He owns the Empire State Building. He's not just worth $85 million. No, folks. He's worth $1 billion, I bet. Now, he owns percentages of 2 malls in Shanghai, China, next to Disney, China. He has 300 Chinese nationals working for him, okay? He's not complaining about the Uyghurs and human trafficking, organ transplant, harvesting, folks. If he did, he knows. I've seen the articles. I know. How could publishers publish articles about a television and radio station that Richard Blumenthal, my senator, owns in China, pumping out propaganda, just like CNN in Connecticut that owns News Channel 12, and the Huffington Post owns The Patch. Now, that article I showed you with the 2 signs from Judge Kremrich, I wrote an article about Connecticut's fraud, election fraud. They put it up for 30 minutes and they took it down. I paid them to put that article up. And I'm going to send this to Patch when we get done. We have a problem with the media. They won't print my name. That might be a good thing in the long run, because they won't no longer tell lies about me. I've confronted Mike Pignataro at Route 7 in Norwalk. So I'm at 31 minutes. I wanted to describe, A, the 131 judges that heard cases they never should have heard, and then compare it to the federal cases we have filed that have never been ruled on. All of them have been dismissed, and they are all multi-million-dollar cases that the judge has a criminal conflict of interest on. Okay? Believe me when I say Judge Heller has a criminal conflict of interest in a money laundering case. Judge Jacobs, a criminal conflict of interest in a money laundering case. Judge Kremrich, a criminal conflict of interest in a murder case. Okay? Gennario, criminal conflicts of interest all over the place. Do you know who his uncle is? Okay, it's William Gennario. Hold on. You ready? Pedophile William Gennario from Norwalk, Connecticut. 2 priests accused of sexual abuse. Church says 2 more priests accused of sexual abuse. Bridgeport. Caggiano says the allegation against Monsignor William Gennario, who died in 2015, dates back more than 30 years. Gennario served in several parishes, and I maintain, and others maintain, that he's ruling the way he is due to his uncle's covered up problem. Is that true? Of course it's true. How does a $3.5 million house get foreclosed on when there is no mortgage? No mortgage. They said there was a $200,000 mortgage. There's no mortgage. So hold on a second. How did they rule in that case, knowing there was no mortgage, dismissing a case? The facts are disturbing, folks, that people are losing their houses by falsified service records. That's not my signature. I've got cases that there's evidence of crossing stocks at zero that are trading at very high prices, the buy goes through at zero and the sell goes through at zero. I wouldn't sell a stock at zero that's trading at 130. Why would I? Well, I certainly didn't buy the stock at zero when they illegally crossed thousands of trades in these federal cases with the knowledge that they were creating 1099 taxable events for me, charging me taxes on trades where I never got the proceeds of the trade. Okay? And they bought the stocks at zero, but generated a statement that they paid full price for those stocks. So in other words, there are thousands and thousands of money laundering trades that these judges have financial conflicts of interest in the state of Connecticut. So, I stand for the flag. I kneel for the cross. There are so many financial frauds in Connecticut. We are the financial crime capital of the United States. You have my word. My word is gold. Thanks. Have a great day. And thank you everyone for who are helping. I didn't realize how much fraud there was in Connecticut. It's a scary, scary thought that you can't even keep your house after you bought it, paid for it, paid the taxes, because the governor is appointing judges that are criminals that go all the way to the chief court administrator, who can't find my 60 complaints. 60 complaints. He found 3. I haven't heard from him. So send this to Judge Patrick Carroll. Call him up and ask him why these houses are being stolen. I'm at 37 minutes. I apologize, but it's a long explanation to a complicated problem that, the Democrats know about. They certainly do. I mean, here, watch. As a final note, ready? Let's put something on the screen. Here it is. Facebook. This post. Let's look at it. Is it on the screen? Let me just check. Yes, okay, let's get rid of myself. These are shared emails from the Democratic Party of Stamford. Want to read them? They're talking about corruption. If you accept our support, we will give you the money, volunteers, and endorsements. Advise everything you need to win your campaign for political office. In other words, they control the election. But you must be loyal to the party. You must be a team player. You must have ambitions, things you want to accomplish in politics. We will put you in a position to succeed. But you have to play the game. You have to run for office that we select you for. And you must endorse the candidates we choose to support. And if you refuse our offer, you are dead to us. These are high-ranking Stamford officials, okay, talking about extortion, okay? Here we go. It was a meeting between Josh Fideli and a half-dozen key members of the Reform Stamford and David Michel political campaigns. David Michel is a state rep in Stamford. He was in on the Barrier murder, okay? So the Barrier murder paid a bribe to Black Lives Matter and the NAACP, okay? After Josh gave his loyalty speech, Dave Abrams and I pushed back along the lines. Does that mean our candidates would have to endorse whoever the Stamford DSCC or State Dem Party chooses to support? Okay? They were upset how Bernie Sanders got screwed. There are emails after emails of Democrats complaining that Jim Himes and Tong falsified his delegate signatures. Now, the Sikh doesn't do anything about it, and neither does the GOP. Okay? To fix the state, you got to fix these nasty politics. Okay? Look on the screen. Okay? It goes on and on and on. Thankfully, that never happened. We should read that. All through the campaign, I was fearful that some kind of campaign financing problem would tarnish the Reform Stanford Party. Why? Because they sent him $6,000, which exceeded the limit for campaign contributions from one individual. They know that. Here we go. When people tried to sue the U.S. Democratic Party for corruption in the way that the party handled donations to Bernie Sanders, the courts ruled that the political parties could do pretty much whatever the F they want. They are not legally bound by either their own bylaws or common sense notions. Okay, so what we're talking about, here we go. I imagine that the legal actions against Connecticut State Democratic Party, Fideli, Tong, Himes, etc., will be fruitless. Will they or Nina or David be hurt by Brian's campaigns against corruption? Where does one draw the line on these issues? Here we go. I could no longer be part of the campaigns for Reform Stanford for David Michel when he received a campaign donation of $6,000. This was, to me, a serious violation of our Bernie-style commitment to be grassroots. Here. I think my attitude was, Josh thinks he's in control of the relationship between our group and the Democratic Party. Okay. These guys openly admit that Tong falsified his delegate signatures. And the people going against Tong in the Republican Party took the high road. You can read and on and read on and read on forever. The Democrats openly discuss campaign finance fraud right out on Facebook, folks. Right out on Facebook. I'm 42 minutes. No one will watch one of the most important posts in Connecticut state history. And I thank you. Flynn, 2022. These federal cases are important. There are millions of felonies occurring.